See, they're resetting back towards the middle very fucking frequently. You compare that to the motion steer function. Bear in mind with me, I'm going to be horrible at this. It doesn't do that. You get the input that you design. It'll do that at lower speeds, but it doesn't do it when it's back up towards 200 odd kilometers an hour. You get the desired turning. Look at it. See, they love it. And then it starts doing it. Whereas with this, see, look, it just, this is the proof that controller players have been screwed for the past year or so. Ever since the Eiger Nordwand update, you haven't been able to get the same turning ability as those on wheel. And I think this shows. Like, look, it resets. It shouldn't be doing that. It should be more like this. Look. It will do it, but you have to slow down quite considerably. You speed it up, look, you get nice linear movements with the flaps, as you should. But with the analog stick you don't. I'm curious. See, look, even with the directional buttons. Oh no, no you don't. Look at that. Oh, you get it a little. You know, you do. Back up again. See, even when the speeds are like very high, for the stick, it should be alright. Like if we get it over 300, yeah, see? But you have to get it really high in order to get the turn in. And then it starts slowing down, you get this. And it's sure as hell not the controller's fault, because this controller isn't particularly old at all. And it does that. Whereas with this, look at that. I'm pretty certain wheel users get the exact same algorithm, or at least they should get a similar algorithm. Look, there's no like iffy movement back to center, not until we get it slowed down like this. We start to get it, there we go. But the car's crawling at this point. It doesn't really matter. These speeds, no problem. But with the stick, just get understeer. Or you get this real lethargic front end. It just doesn't want to do anything. And I haven't been able to really prove anything. Like, I could feel it for months. This front end just not doing anything. And noticing how much lower my corner speeds are compared to just about everyone else. And I've been searching and searching and searching for something that kind of gives a visual proof to what's going on. And this is probably as good as it gets. Watching the flaps just reset. Oh, look at that. Like, these flaps react to almost exactly what the player is doing because of how hyper reactive this car is. So the steering inputs that I'm putting in, that's what the car's getting. And this is what I'm getting back in return, this sort of really stuttery steering that you just don't get on motion, on the motion sensor function. It's way more linear. And look how much more reactive it is. I'm just able to just flick it. Like, wow. This is what cars kind of used to feel like before the Eiger update. They used to be insanely reactive, particularly with like high downforce cars. They were incredible. But there it is. The proof I might have been looking for, yeah, pretty much for a year. And interestingly enough, same kind of issue with the directional buttons. Maybe not quite as apparent. Oh, well. I mean, look how slow that is. I'm sorry. Like, look how slow. No, it is just as apparent. Actually, it is just as apparent as it is on the stick. And you got to think about it as well. They've done Gran Turismo World Series qualifiers with this kind of physics model. They've done all sorts of stuff. I think they would have done the grand final last year with this kind of physics model. How can anyone find this fair for a competitive kind of setting? That is unbelievable. Like, this steering model is particularly bad when you're going over bumps. Corners like the carousel at the Nürburgring are just impossible to deal with. Because every time you go over a bump, it's like the steering resets all the time. So you have to drop your top speed down by an extra 20 kilometers an hour to get through. Look. So reactive. And there's no stutter. There's no nothing. It's all there. Like, this is just not right. And the fact that there's really been nothing to address this issue either. I mean, you got to beg the question, do they know? Did PD know? I mean, I remember at the beginning of this year, I think they made an update that included a change in the steering algorithm for pad flows. That didn't really change much. So I reckon they do know the issue. Maybe? I don't know. Ooh. Yeah, I might as well bring these up. Yeah, that's what I run. I wonder. Just resist. Okay, the information of the road surface with the tyre. The greater this value, the more responsive to changes. More responsive to changes the steering wheel will become. The lower this value, the steering becomes gentler. I don't know. That doesn't feel like it does anything at all. Depending on the car you're driving, force feedback max torque will result in strong shocks and vibrations. the more responsive the car becomes with the lower value. So at max out, oh look at that. Oh good lord, that makes a difference. Speed it up a bit. You still get that though, you can see that stuttery movement in the fins of the car. Controller settings. Alright, we'll turn this back. Okay, what about Nord? That still does it. Get around this banking. We'll use some of this. Slow the car down so I don't fling it into a wall. Okay. That's kind of, well, not quite as bad as I was thinking it was going to be. See, when you get over 250, it's not too bad, and then it starts doing it. So I think the low sensitivity does seem to mitigate the stuttering a little bit. Maybe? Oh, not at slower speeds, it doesn't. Oh, good lord. Oh, at the slower speeds, good lord, that's heavy. Well, it's not much better on 10 to be fair. Oh, good lord. There, no. There it is. Look at that. Look how quick it is. It snaps immediately, not a problem. What if I do slower slides? Like that. Even on the slightly slower silent, it doesn't want to do it. It doesn't want to stutter in the steering. It's fairly uniform. It just does what you tell it to, which is how it should be. How is it not like this all the time? Look at it. Oh, back, forth, back, forth. Yeah, that's the same. God, this feels even worse now than it did before. Ugh. Look at how rubbish the steering is, honestly. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.